Oh man, my neck hurts so fucking much from that movie theater. Oh my god.
Well, mine doesn't.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Yes.
Rub it in, motherfucker. Fucking rub it in.
Sweet tiger neck pillow that I won from a skill crane game.
The first time I've ever seen anyone win on that fucking one, too.
My little tiger too.
That fucking thing is so impossible to fucking win in there that Hotel Transylvania toys are still in the goddamn thing.
They are.
We just got out of How to Train Your Dragon 2,
You stepped it.
which Jake found to be a very cozy movie.
I did. That was the most comfortable I have ever been in that theater. Like, you have no idea how much this thing, like, really helped.
When we all met, because both movies were at the same time tonight, and when we met up, I was saying to Sarah, like, well, shit, if we had those last week, maybe we would have just seen Fault in Our Stars here sitting in the front row. At least we would have had those.
Hey, you would have had these.
Yeah. What is it? A tiger?
It's
tiger worm?
It's Snuggle Around. Snuggle Arounds is what it's called, I
It would have
guess.
been great if there were dragon ones in it.
Oh, wait, they're just neck warmers. It keeps your neck warm.
It's a neck warmer, Brad. It's not a tiger.
Come on, Brad.
That's just stupid what you said. Our movie kicked ass.
Our movie was fucking awesome. Our movie had sheep, and fire, and
Dragons,
Vikings, and it had fucking dragons. Like, our movie was
amputees.
badass. Amputees.
Our movie rocked.
It
It
fucking
had
did.
ice dragons, giant, scary-ass beasts that honestly could really do well in a Godzilla movie, to be perfectly honest.
They really could. Yeah, those things were terrifying. The two alpha dragons.
Oh
those
my
things
God.
Were terrifying.
Freaking giant ice, big old horned dragons. Oh man, yeah, this movie was really cool. And I was really glad the sheep got a much bigger role this time around.
Me too. The sheep were all over this movie. It was fantastic.
Every time they showed up in this movie, because it's like the first one. Like when it shows the sheep, they're just munching on some grass, minding their own business, and then, but they're in this one a little bit more than in the first one, and they do that in this one too. But every time they showed up, I just couldn't help it, just giggle to myself. This was a much better sheep movie than Million Ways to Die in the West.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not watching that other one.
Although, the sheep were, one of the better parts of Million Ways to Die in the West. Since we got a trailer for Penguins of Madagascar, now there just needs to be the sheep of How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh my god, I would watch an entire feature-length movie involving those sheep.
Just the sheep. They're just silent. They just sit there munching, just all lazy, munching on their grass, minding their own business, just, at peace with the world, except at the very beginning when they're all kind of in one little huddle scuttling away from the dragons. I loved the sheep.
I also enjoyed the sheep. It's funny because they don't get harmed in the movie.
Not at all.
But
not a one.
With how vicious and violent the pickups are, you would think every single one of those sheep are just being mauled to death.
Oh, not a one
not.
gets harmed. When they get dropped into the net, they just continue munching. They're peaceful little creatures.
They are.
I like how they have little targets painted on them as well. I actually just saw the first one for the very first time today. When it came out, when the first one came out, that was 2010, so we certainly weren't doing the year-round seeing everything that came out. And when the first one came out, I honestly thought it looked fine. I just didn't get around to seeing it. And so I knew I was going to be at this, so I watched the first one earlier and thought it was really fun. I thought it was enjoyable as fuck. And the Toothless reminds me of Lloyd, only as a dragon. He's Dragon Lloyd.
He kind of is. Only I will say Toothless is not nearly as talky as Lloyd is.
Yeah, he does. Lloyd has much more dialogue.
He does.
Than Toothless.
A lot more dialogue.
Lloyd's got the Siamese in him, but the way that he found like warm places to lay down, laying down like a cat. Just all the expressions he has with his eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think just seeing Lloyd on here is expressive with his big eyes, see him in person.
Yeah.
Lloyd. He'll let you know exactly what he's thinking.
He sure will. For a while.
Yeah. With Lloyd and everything, and me generally being a big cat person anyway, like, I really like the dragons in this. They're very much just like cats.
They are. Yeah, they are the behaviors of the dragons. Besides the alphas, are extremely cat-like.
Yeah.
The way that they move, there's a couple of scenes where like there's two characters and they're having like a relatively serious dialogue, and they're front and center, and in the background, like Toothless and one of the other dragons are interacting,
much like Lloyd and Chloe.
I was gonna say, much like two cats would, like they're quickly like moving around each other and just kind of chasing each other,
batting at each other, taking things from each other, like biting on like it was like a little ice stick, kind of back and forth, like I see, with the exception of a big old ice stick, I see that's this kind of thing I see Lloyd and Chloe do all the time. But yeah, that happens quite a bit just in the background. You'll just see the dragons doing something in the background, and it's really funny. It's really enjoyable. It's not like distracting. It doesn't really take away from anything that's going on. It just makes you smile, and it makes you laugh. This one, compared to the first one, was really emotional. I mean, not that the first one wasn't, but
no, you're right. This one tugged at the heartstrings.
Oh my
God! I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a couple of moments where I was.
Hey,
come on, man! This movie's stupid. Let's fast forward through this part.
This movie's pretty gay, bro.
This movie's really gay, bro.
No, I know what you mean. I came close. This movie really deals like, okay, when I watched the first one, I was like, wow, like this is a kid's movie where like the hero like loses a limb at the end of it,
and
man.
There's some fucking consequences in this movie, isn't there?
Yeah, and same with this one too. I mean, this one's got some serious loss in it.
It does.
Holy shit.
Like when spoiler alert. When Hiccup's dad dies from trying to save him from the possessed Toothless.
Yeah. That got creepy.
That got me. Like, for a second, I was like, he's gonna do that bounce back thing, right? No. The next scene is the Viking pyre, the Viking funeral pyre with the ship leaving, and Hiccup shoots the flaming arrow, and like everyone is fucking crying. It's a rough scene.
Yeah,
like it really is.
Especially the conflict that it presents there, because at first, he's mad at Toothless, even though it wasn't Toothless's fault.
Yeah.
He came under possession of the Alpha, and then he goes away and gets captured by
that psychotic ass fuck.
Oh my god!
Wow, that dude was crazy.
That was Djimon Hounsou plays the
fantastic villain.
Yeah, the villain in this movie is a fucker.
He really is. Like, fucking hardcore.
Yeah, the villain in this movie is just straight up bad. Like, the guy in this movie, like, this is a scumfucker, man. This is a guy where you're sitting there and you're like, I know this is a kid's movie, but I want this guy to get fucking blown up at the end.
I want him dead.
Yeah, this is a real bad guy.
However they end up beating him is not, in my opinion, when I was watching this, it was not going to be enough.
That's what I like about this. This movie gets real.
It does. It gets really real.
Like, it honestly gets creepy in parts too. I mean, that Alpha Beast is kind of terrifying looking, and also the scene where Toothless is under possession by the Alpha, and then Jay Baruchel, Hiccup. I kept wanting to say Flint, but I'm like, no, that's the wrong
one. That is not Flint.
Hiccup. When he's talking Toothless down and getting him to come back to the real world, because he is essentially not like a zombie, but he's like practically demon possessed at this point.
It's like mind control, kind of.
Yeah, it is creepy. It's creepy when you watch it. It's surprisingly haunting. A lot of stuff in that, and it tugs at your heart too, because you're like, oh my God, come back to us, buddy.
Come on, Toothless,
Jesus
what are you
Christ.
doing?
And also that whole ending battle scene too had moments in it. Had certain moments in it where there's like no music playing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like,
Yeah.
like in the middle of the big fight scene, like you could hear the dramatic classical music with the upbeat tempo and you know the how it typically goes, but just right in the middle of it, just
Yeah.
there's no more music. There's none of that like
Yeah.
bump a bump a dump a dump a go over there bump a dump a. It's just like they're still
the wind. It's just like
it's the wind, and like they're still in the middle of the panic of battle. So
Yeah.
they're still like, go over there, blah blah blah, bang bang. But it's just like if you were there, like if you were actually there, you would hear the dragons roaring, the clash of metal on metal. You know, you would. The yelling of the people, like that's all you were hearing for a long time.
It straight up was turning into a Godzilla movie.
Oh shit.
And the 3D was cool.
Yeah.
But like it would be it'd be better if you were to see it like on an IMAX than how we saw it, because like looking at it, I can certainly tell that it was a pretty good use of 3D. The screen that we had for it it's the kind of movie screen where you could kind of see a lot of the ripples on on the actual screen, which kind of lessens the effect a little bit. So if you were to see this, but even with that being said, I mean, I could certainly tell that this movie was making use out of its 3D. If you were to see this on like an IMAX screen or a better screen than we saw it in, I imagine it would be even more popping than how we saw it. Especially in those fight scenes and any of the flying sequences.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I completely agree with you. Like you can see in the movie, and even with the 3D, like it did look bad at all. But I've seen much better 3D at a far less. How do I phrase this? I have seen better 3D out of far terrible movies overall than I did in this. And I'm not saying that the 3D wasn't necessarily bad in this. It was more subdued, I suppose.
I mean, it was, but I mean, from my point of view anyway, I think that was largely due to the screen that we saw it on, and not necessarily the movie. Because, I mean, you're right, like, I've seen movies that are bad, but, like, the 3D was fine.
The 3D always looked really good.
Yeah, hell, off the top of my head, I think the 3D and the nut job was probably okay. From what I can recall. Hell, even fucking Smurfs 2 had a couple of scenes where the 3D looked fine.
Like, Epic had a lot of the 3D utilization with the fluorescent crap, and
I think it was just simply we just kind of saw it on a dirty screen.
Maybe if we would have saw it on a different screen, I would probably.
Also, I could tell that they did that. This particular projector was dimmed more. I can't get mad.
I can't get mad at you. I know you didn't mean it, neck kitty.
We were joking beforehand. We're like, so as long as he's got that on, he's not angry Jake anymore, but Zen Jake.
Really, the dragons represent people.
After Smurfs 2, like, come on, guys.
Come on, I mean, it was bad, but
we got out of the house.
We got out okay.
We're together as friends. Isn't friendship the most important thing, boys?
Well, we won't remember the movie. We will remember the companionship. And I think that's what we need to take away from this.
3 guys, shirtless in a car, reviewing Smurfs 2.
Oh, man. I mean, that's just the natural flow of the universe, baby.
I don't like Jake anymore since he's got that neck thing.
You leave Neck Tiger out of this.
I don't like it when they feel feelings.
Why aren't they cynical?
I'm just saying that if you're flying that high on a dragon, you won't be able to hear each other talk.
Oh my god. Just saying. I mean, I'm just saying. If you're
Just saying.
Just saying, man.
Just
if
saying.
you're up there in the upper atmosphere, the oxygen's going to be very thin, and I mean, you're just not going to be able to hear anything from the person next to you. Just saying, bro.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. Hate to point logic into this thing. I'm just saying. Fuck off.
Anybody online who ever ends their sentence or whatever with "just saying," they might as well replace it with "what I just said can easily be corrected."
You're right.
At least in my experience. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Fuck.
Fucking.
The sheep would have died, bro. Just saying.
They fucking probably would have.
Well, another thing about this too, and I felt this way about the first one as well, is both of these movies, unlike Epic, unlike something like that, or some other movies too, this one and the first one make really good use of its celebrity voice casting.
Yeah. You and I were talking about that earlier. Like, for example, like Craig Ferguson's character.
Oh, yeah.
Gomber?
Gobber.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
I fucking love that guy.
Uh-huh.
I truly love that dude. He is my favorite character in the whole thing. He cracks me up. Like him and Toothless are my two favorite.
Why I never got married.
Well, that's one other thing. He just looks down. Hickam just looks at him and it cuts away quickly.
In the first one, when they were going to like the dragon's nest and there was that burnt old ship that was sitting in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I left that.
I was wondering where we left that.
That was really... He's really funny in this, and I can't imagine anyone else but Gerard Butler playing that character either. This is it's getting celebrity voice casting in it, like, all over the place, but... They make it fit along with the character. Like, Jay Baruchel. Like, I don't see Jay Baruchel just in a recording studio playing this part. I see this character. And that's just how he sounds.
Yeah.
Same with Gerard Butler. They with their voices, they become these characters.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, this movie is just chock full of, very good actors who are doing the voice work in it, and it's not the same as in Epic or Smurfs 2 or any of these other damn things that we've seen over the summer where they're just there to draw attention.
Yeah, to draw on like, hey, look, we've got so-and-so.
We got so-and-so and so-and-so, but when you watch it, it's like, that could have just been done by anybody.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. In some cases, it's like, yeah, you know what? That would have been a lot better if they got a professional voice actor to play that.
Exactly.
That's not this at all.
No, this one, Hiccup can only be voiced by Jay, in my opinion. His dad,
Gerard Butler
did a fantastic job.
Obviously, Craig Ferguson.
Yeah, Craig Ferguson was great yet again.
And the minor ones too, like T.J. Miller, Jonah Hill, Kristen Wiig
was who you normally don't like. She was the twin girl.
Yeah, that character was a lot of fun.
She was a lot of fun.
Jaimin Hunsu is the villain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jaimin Hunsu is the villain was again like this villain in the movie. This is one of the better villains I've seen this year. This guy is just the kind of bad that normally you would see in like an action film of the 80s. But we don't, but in this, like, wow, one of the most horrific villains I've seen of the fucking year or in a while, honestly. If I did a list of some of the most hardcore fucking evil-ass villains of the past couple of years, this guy would be on there.
And you wouldn't think that a dude that hardcore would have been in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah, that's what I like about this movie.
Yeah.
And the first one, too, is that, like, characters, like you said at the beginning of it, there are consequences to what happens in this. At the beginning of it, he gets his leg cut off, and that helps him bond more. That gives him a more bonding moment with Toothless. In this, his dad. In this, finding his mom.
Finding his mom.
As soon as, everything's back together again, Dad, dies. And of course, yeah, we used to see that in Disney movies all the fucking time way back when.
No, way back when, you're kind of used to it.
But yeah, it's been a little while since
it has been, because
one really hit me like this.
Yeah, because usually, nowadays it has that power of love thing where don't die. Oh, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm alright. False alarm, everybody. No, this dude was dead, and I was expecting it because there was part of me like I don't want that character to die. 'Cause I really, really, really like him. I like him a lot.
Exactly. Which makes it even sadder.
I know, it made it like a little extra sad. It's like,
that this
maybe
movie,
he'll come. No, he's on fire.
No, he's on fire on
dead.
the boat. He's definitely dead.
And they're moving on. Okay, well, shit.
And that's ballsy to take this pretty established character, and then about halfway, 3/4 into the movie, anyone could really kind of get it in this universe.
No one's really safe in this place. You're really not.
Mm-hmm. I was honestly expecting the mom to.
I was expecting the mom too. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. Like when they introduced her, I was like, and it would still be sad because I liked the way that Hiccup and his mom first meet each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's trying to find the bad dude, and she's decked out in this painted, cool looking armor.
That was a killer introduction.
And this is one of the coolest entrances ever.
Uh-huh.
Like he's flying on Toothless, and he's soaring above the clouds, and he's airing out his frustrations to Toothless.
Yeah.
And he's kind of laying back on the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the background you just see
I know,
this thing just popping up out of the clouds. And Hiccup's like, man, because Toothless notices it and he kind of growls.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I don't even want it. And he just looks over, and then by the time he looks over, it's just this person just looking at him, just not moving, just statue.
Yeah.
And then it just disappears. What the fuck was that? All right, let's go investigate. So and not only that, he goes down, and then there's a bit of an aerial battle. She takes Hiccup completely off of Toothless. And a moment that started to tug on me too, just for a brief moment, was when they knocked Toothless into the water when he broke through the ice.
Oh yeah.
And because of his tail and whatnot, he can't swim and he can't really fly on his own.
Yeah.
So when he broke through that, and he was struggling so goddamn hard to get out of that, I was like, okay, and you're gonna leave Toothless.
Yeah, right.
He made it out all right, but and then the mom and the son are actually interacting. She's still decked out in her armor, and the movements is what I liked. The way that she was moving, it was obvious that she spent 20 years with dragons, because she was kind of moving around and being kind of animalistic with her movements. And then it reveals that it's his mom, but her entrance was so badass.
Well, and what you're talking about with movements too is something else I noticed too about the animation in their faces when they talk, when they're emoting, when they're moving like she was doing, the little quiet movements, everything she was making with the dragons. They did fucking good animating this. These are real fucking characters.
Yeah,
these characters are emoting like fucking crazy. When they're sad, they look
sad.
Real. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's an animated film, of course, but you're watching it and there's just really human emotion in how they look. and simply how they look and how the little twitches on their faces, their eyes, and everything. And even like honestly, even from a comedic standpoint too, the character design really works well in the very slapsticky moments in it.
Yeah.
Because the characters are certainly like a lot of, with the exception of like the big old Vikings, but like the kids and Hiccup they're lanky, they're very skitty, which makes it funny when they get knocked on their ass and just fall face first into a thing of snow.
And one thing that I think, and you kind of touched on this, that something I really like from the first one, and they did it even better, in my opinion, here in the second one, is in the first one, they did such a good job fleshing out the characters.
Yeah.
Even though it's an animated film, of course, but it's easy to get involved in these characters. And that was something I really liked from the first one, because I got emotionally invested in everyone. Just everyone. I got emotionally invested in everyone. And this one, they did an even better job, like fleshing out and giving the characters like real good, likable personalities. Like, for example, when like Hiccup and his girlfriend are first talking, and he was like, "Oh, I was talking to my dad," and Hiccup started acting like his dad, and then his girlfriend immediately started doing like the flailing arm shit,
spastic like him.
like that was cute, because I was like, they're like a real, like they interacted like a real couple, which made me like the two characters even more. And that's just something I liked with this. Probably my favorite thing about this is that all the characters, including the dragons, have very unique personalities. They did an extremely good job of fleshing everyone out.
Yeah, which it makes the story that you're watching feel fresh, because it's an old kind of story, you know. Like take the first one for example. You know, kid his dad wants him to be tougher than he is, but he's not really cut out for that kind of thing. And then, you know, by the end he gets his dad's approval and everything. Like it's an old common story that a lot of people can relate to and stuff like that. But it really is the characters in the film that really also make it pop and make you go along with a very common story, with a very common children's kind of story. Same with this too. You're following these characters through this journey, and and the fact that you like them so much, the fact that you relate to them as well, that they are truly unique characters, makes everything about what they're going through feel fresh in a way. It certainly does, especially even in terms of, like you said, even in terms of the dragons, how by the end of it, throughout this story, we're seeing Hiccup, you know, he's struggling with the fact that his dad wants him to be the leader of the tribe once his dad is gone, and he doesn't really want to. He doesn't think he's quite cut out for that. He just doesn't think he's that kind of person, and there's something else he wants to do. Meanwhile, the parallel of that is, by the end of it, Toothless the Dragon is more or less the alpha of all of the dragons.
Yeah.
You know, and it's same with Hiccup eventually, by the end of it, becoming the leader of this group. And yeah, like, you know, there's plenty of stories and children's stories that kind of have that common storyline, but there's nothing wrong with that. You can still, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You can still do that. You absolutely can still do that, because the characters can still tug at your heartstrings for and can still make you still want to kind of go on this journey with these characters. And this movie and the first one do that incredibly well.
They really do. Like, How to Train Your Dragon, when it came out in 2010, like, that was by far my favorite movie to come out in a long time.
Did you see it in the theater?
I did. I saw that one by myself.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go see it because it fucking has dragons in it.
Yeah, it's got dragons in it.
Are you serious? Like, I don't know how the hell you could turn that away. And I want a dragon so goddamn bad. Like, it hurts so much that I can't have a dragon. The only thing
you can come see Lloyd anytime you want.
Dude, I got Pazuzu. I'm good.
Pazuzu's cat was waving goodbye to him at the window when we went to go pick him up.
She was. She's such a sweetheart. Anytime I leave my apartment, I have the blinds up, and she pops up into the windowsill and like waves goodbye to me. Like, puts her little paw up and goes like this and waves goodbye to me. And then when I get home, her meow is so loud, like she can hear me saying, talking to people or hear my car door, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And like from outside of my apartment, I hear meow, 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 and it won't stop until I go upstairs to give her some attention. And like now it's a mixture of, the meows of, hey, I'm happy to see you, welcome home. Uh-huh. Give me some goddamn attention. Mm-hmm. Now she's in heat. Mm-hmm. So now I love my cat. Mm-hmm. I love Pazuzu to death. But I've never wanted to choke an animal so bad in my life until I experienced having a female cat in heat for the first time. They just won't stop with the fucking meowing, and it's this low guttural. And it's the cat's way of going, dick! I want dick! And then me looking at her going, Zuzu, for the last fucking time, you are not getting any dick! Shut up with the fucking meow! Shut up!
I need some dick.
I need the dick! Fucking, I want some vagina too. You don't hear me fucking bitching about it. Shut up. The only thing that I could think of doing, besides getting her fixed, which would be the smart thing to do, but I am not a smart man. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to suction cup like a little vibrator against the wall and just turn it on. And just like, all right, well, please yourself. Do fucking something while I'm out of the house. This meow shit better be done by the time I get back home. 'Cause I cannot take another 4 o'clock in the morning wake-up call with the cat right fucking here in your face going, meow.
Big Lloyd waits till about 8 to wake me up. He gets on there and like squeezes in by me on the couch, and throughout the night I can hear him walking through the house and doing his Meeser yowl and everything, and he's just waiting for me to call to him. So he'll wow, wow, and then I'll say, hey Lloyd, and then he'll stop. And he'll walk in and come to bed.
See, my cat doesn't do that. She gets louder the more all right, really? Pazuzu, that's enough. Meow. I said that's enough. Meow. Shut up. Meow.
When Lloyd's in a playful mood and everything, and you talk to him, he'll talk back to you and stuff like that. But when he does the Siamese yowl, that he's just looking for some acknowledgement. He wants his belly rubbed.
The only time my cat's loud is when she wants some dick.
I don't know how Lloyd swings. Maybe that's what he wants.
Is it?
Maybe that's why he's never been married.
Dude, it's legal now.
Oh, it is!
It is!
Hang on, I'll call him.
Lloyd, dude, got great news. Yeah, I know, I'm excited too, buddy. Gay Kitty 6. It's all you, buddy. Oh, meow.
I thought I heard Jillian cough back there. Our movie was shorter than the other movie.
It was. They can wait outside.
It's much easier when Irving's at the other movie, because Irving will let you know when he's out, because he'll start jumping on the car.
He sure will. Attention, attention, I need attention.
Is that you, Irving?
Is that you, Irving?
And next week is, I'm not sure what the next kids movie is. This doesn't mean anything, because one could Trojan horse on us like fucking Legends of Oz did.
That's true.
Next week, I believe, is just Think Like a Man 2. It's the sequel to Think Like a Man.
I didn't even know there was a movie called Think Like a Man.
A few years ago, there's a Kevin Hart movie called Think Like a Man. It's got a sequel.
Okay.
I've been told that Jersey Boys is opening opposite of it, and I'd actually really like to see Jersey Boys, but it isn't listed yet next, which doesn't mean anything. They could add it in a few days, but right now just that Think Like a Man 2 is added, so it's going to be this year's Best Man's Club, so it'll Best Man Holiday. I combined Best Man Holiday with Single Moms Club. Sweet. So I'm sure that'll be me, Dave, and Brian at that.
Yeah, sounds like a movie I don't even need to worry about. Fantastic.
Not until they do that sequel to Draft Day.
Oh, God. Now even draftier. Fuck. That movie was so dumb.
Draft Day.
I did not care
That
about
video was great, though.
That was the one that we ended up rambling on for like an hour.
10 minutes of draft
10
day.
minutes of draft day, 50 minutes of bullshit.
Good on you for getting at least 10 minutes out of draft
That
day.
was so hard. Like, what do you want to talk about? It's an NFL draft. Gives a fuck.
Well, they're going to come on in and talk about 22 Jump Street.
I'm gonna go home and roll up a shit ton of D&D characters.
I'm going to go home, smoke a little bit, watch some Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and dream about dragons.
I'm gonna do something similar. Only instead of sleeping, I'm actually gonna create my D&D characters that will get to ride on dragons.
Sweet.
I have all the necessary books. I am that much of a nerd.
I'm going to make wings for Lloyd. He'll love it.